So making lefse today, which is a traditional Scandinavian dish, I guess you would say. I learned from watching my mom, who learned from watching her great-grandmother. She lived about 2 blocks away from us when I was a kid growing up. So it has been handed down for at least 3 generations, probably 4 or 5. It's not fancy ingredients. It's potatoes and flour and sugar, salt, some oil, and some milk. We're starting with the potatoes, so they need to be peeled. I prefer to use red potatoes. They get peeled and cooked. I started using my Instant Pot a few years ago because it is a super duper time saver. You need roughly 5 pounds would be a good start. When you're finished, after you've riced them, you will need 2 quarts of potatoes for this recipe. So the potatoes have cooked and now they are draining, and now it is time to rice them. So this is called a ricer, and it works best when the potatoes are hot. If they're cool, then they don't go through the openings very easily. So you want to do it, you can see that they're still steaming. You want to do it when they're hot. And ricing just ensures that there won't be any chunks, so that you can roll it out and it will be a smooth finished product and a nice thin sheet. Our potatoes have been riced, so they're still warm, and then it is time to add some of the other ingredients. So for starters, we do oil. It's just regular vegetable oil. You could use canola if you want. I use a vegetable blend, and you will need 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Now we add our next liquid, which is 1/4 cup of milk. I'm using skim milk because that's what we drink at the house. I have also used evaporated milk, and I would have to think that originally they would have used whole milk or cream, just because that's probably what was available. And next it is time to add the sugar. And this is where the recipe gets a little tricky. People will ask me to give them the recipe, and I oblige. However, when it comes to the sugar, it says a little bit of sugar. Well, a little bit to some might be 1/2 cup. A little bit to others might be 2 teaspoons. I just kind of scoop it out and sort of measure it in my hand, and then I add it to the mixture. It's personal taste. And now we're adding the salt, and the measurement for the salt is very similar to the sugar. The recipe says a little. Again, that pretty much means to taste. What I have found is I just use my hand, and I'm guessing that's about 1.5 teaspoons. So I'll put that in with the rest, and at the end, right before I chill it, then I'll taste it, and if it's missing a little something, either the salt or the sugar, then I can add more at that time. Our riced potatoes, along with our vegetable oil, our milk, our sugar, and our salt, are in the bowl, and they will need to be chilled thoroughly. I prefer to chill them overnight, so minimum of 8 hours. fortunate living in northern Minnesota. In the wintertime, you can often use your garage as a refrigerator. Seeing as how when I get rolling, I sometimes do 2 or 3 of these large bowls for lefse, and I wouldn't have room in my refrigerator. So this will go into the garage overnight before I add flour and start rolling tomorrow morning. So we've let our potato mixture chill, preferably overnight, and now it is time to add the flour. It's a general measurement, it's not exact because it's more about the feel of the dough, and all I can tell you is you just know it when you know it. So if you don't have enough flour mixed in, it will be a terrible sticky mess, and no matter how much rolling or trying to add it in, it just isn't gonna work for you. So this is the consistency that you're looking for. It all came together in a nice ball. It's not sticking to my gloves, and it's still nice and soft. Your portion, and you kind of get it into a uniform ball shape. I'm gonna say that is larger than a golf ball, smaller than a baseball, if that gives you some perspective on measurement. So one of our preformed balls, and you pat it, and then here's where that extra flour on the side comes in handy. And you kind of flatten it, and then we roll. And it's a fairly heavy rolling pin because you want it to be thin. I used to make lefse for one of my friend's dads, and he would always comment that my lefse was so thin, not that thick stuff that the old ladies make. So whatever that's supposed to mean, apparently he liked it thin. Once it's rolled out like this, then you slide your lefse stick in the center, hopefully nothing's sticking. Then you pick it up and you lay it on the preheated 500-degree grill. So if you need to check it, you just take your lefse stick and you kind of lift it up, and you can see how that one is nice and freckled. So I know it's ready to turn. So you slide the stick under and flip. All right, so again, lifted it, checked it, so now we lift it up in the center, and there is a plastic bag, just a grocery bag underneath. I guess it helps to keep the moisture in. So you lay it down on that cloth. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. And then you cover it with another cloth, and then another plastic bag goes on the top. Now, this is one of those things, I'm not really sure why they do this, but they do. And so I have continued to follow that direction, I guess. One of those things that you learn it by doing, you learn it by how it's passed down, and that's what they did, so that's what I do. So now that you've done all of the hard work, comes the best part, eating the lefse. That is the best. And a lot of people will put butter and white sugar. Some will do brown sugar with the butter. I've also had butter and sugar and cinnamon. You could do peanut butter or Nutella. You smear it on, you roll it up, and then you enjoy. Thanks for watching, and happy rolling.
På Frøysnes der stod en forunderlig lek, da ulven fra nedi ham tok bort en gjet. Og ja, gjeten lå under og ulven oppå, og han nede